Let's get into some what other people think here about the take. I mentioned Rich Lowry, who is, as the editor of National Review, a Never Trump. By the way, when we get off of this and on to other things, there is a fascinating piece here by a guy I am quoting more and more often, Kurt Schlichter. This is Schlichter at Schlichter, S-L-I-C-H-T-E-R, however he put it. I've seen that pronounced I don't know how many different ways. Conservative Inc. is being replaced by us militant normals. This is one of the most provocative and in-depth analysis of what has happened to the conservative movement that I have seen yet. And we'll get into that as the program unfolds. But Rich Lowry was an original Never Trumper, and he runs a magazine that remains Never Trump. National Review. He posted on, I guess it was over the week. I don't have the exact date. Why Donald Trump is president. Regarding Trump's fire the NFL protesters line Friday night, it's a classic example of Trump's, at times, gut-level political savvy. This kind of thing is why he's president. Do you realize what an admission that is? That's an admission. Guess where most of voting America is? It's with Donald Trump on this issue. Lowry says he takes a commonly held sentiment, most people don't like the NFL protests, and states it in an inflammatory way guaranteed to get everyone's attention and generate outrage among his critics. When those critics lash back at him, Trump is put in the position of getting attacked for defending America. There's no way he loses. Don't care what you all in the media think. Don't care what Goodell thinks. You know, Goodell said, I've never been prouder of our league yesterday, the way we handle it. You know, the NFL is in the NFL, I actually think, is the useful idiots in the political battle that's being waged with it, to it, and against it. And I don't know if they understand what's happening, just like Hillary still doesn't know what happened to her. I don't know that the NFL understands what's happening to it. I really don't think they do. They couldn't be blamed, really. I mean, look at a few short years ago, they owned everything. Monster TV ratings, monster cash flow, monster revenue generation, monster popularity. When it starts to fade away, first thing that happens to you, if you're not careful, is denial. It's temporary. We'll get it back. It's the hurricanes. It was the election. But the numbers keep sliding. It wasn't the hurricane. It wasn't just the election. It's something more basic. Of course, NFL owners firing players on the spot for protesting, that's not common sense, but this is where seriously, not literally, comes in with Trump, since everybody knows that the owners are not going to fire the SOBs. And by the way, Trump didn't call all of them SOBs, if that matters to you. Trump's statement registers for his supporters merely as forceful opposition to the protests, not as a specific plan of action. Bingo. Bingo. Trump supporters to this day are not understood. They are still impugned and mocked and laughed at. But they have grown tired of a country they love being under assault as unjust or immoral or illegitimate. They're fed up with it. Their president defends it, defends them. The specifics don't matter. There is finally somebody speaking up for America. But Rush, the protesters are speaking up for America. They may think so, but they're not. In the eyes of most NFL fans, they're not speaking up for America. This is not complicated either. The left has always believed that malcontents and protesters and people practicing dissent is quintessential America. But most Americans don't think that's what quintessential America is. You see, it just doesn't compute that something you claim to love, you bitch about all the time. It just doesn't compute. But, Rush, the complaints come from love and a desire for it to be better. Really? You think that's what that really is? I don't think so. Stick with me on this. Meanwhile, Rich Lowry concluding, when Trump is criticized and doesn't back down, it's taken by his supporters as a sign of strength. If a political consultant came up with Trump's strategy, he would deserve a huge raise, but it's just Trump himself operating on instinct. Rich Lowry, National Review. You don't know what a, I don't know, admission, realization this is. This is essentially, I mean, why Donald Trump is president. This is, Donald Trump instinctively knows where the heart of America is. The National Football League all these years have thought that it knew because of its robust popularity and money, but turns out it didn't and doesn't.